My parents think this boat is a symbol of their wealth. They don't know it's actually a one-way ticket to federal prison. The thought runs through my head on a loop as I pull into the lake house driveway, gravel crunching under my tires. I'm still in my work clothes, navy slacks, and a silk blouse that's wrinkled from 12 hours at the agency. My body aches in that specific way that comes from skipping lunch and surviving on coffee alone. I should have gone home first, changed, prepared myself. But Dr. Thorne's secretary called 3 hours ago asking about the wire transfer, and I need to know it went through. Merrick's HSCT procedure is scheduled for next week. $215,000. The last of my retirement accounts, liquidated overnight. Because insurance denied the claim. Again. Golden hour light catches on the water as I walk toward the dock. The party is already in full swing. 100 guests in designer casual wear, champagne flutes catching the sun, laughter floating across the perfectly manicured lawn. Fireworks are stacked near the boathouse for tonight's show. Everything about this scene screams money. And there they are, Conrad and Lenora, standing on the dock in matching white linen. My father holds a champagne bottle aloft like a trophy. My stepmother's smile is wide and practiced, the kind she reserves for audiences. Between them sits the reason for today's celebration, a gleaming cobalt speedboat, $180,000 of fiberglass and chrome. The crowd applauds as Conrad smashes the bottle against the hull. Champagne explodes in a golden spray. "We christen thee, the Merrick Clay." Lenora's voice carries across the water, delighted with her own cleverness. My stomach drops. I scan the crowd until I find him. Merrick stands near the buffet table, one hand gripping a drink, the other trembling slightly at his side. He's 25 but looks younger in this light, boyish and uncertain. His eyes find mine for a split second before darting away. He knows. I push through the crowd, my heels sinking into grass. Someone tries to hand me champagne. I wave them off. Conrad sees me coming and his expression shifts, celebration cracking into something guarded. "Elise!" His voice is too loud, too jovial. "You made it after all. We weren't sure you'd get away from that office of yours. Did Dr. Thorne receive the wire transfer?" I keep my voice low, aware of the guests milling nearby. "The procedure is in 7 days. They need to confirm payment by tomorrow morning." Conrad's face does something complicated. His smile stays fixed, but his eyes go flat. "Let's not discuss business at a party, sweetheart." "It's not business. It's Merrick's treatment." "Elise." Lenora appears at Conrad's elbow, champagne glass dangling from manicured fingers. Her smile hasn't wavered. "You look exhausted, darling. When was the last time you slept?" "The wire transfer," I repeat. $215,000. "Did you send it?" "To?" Lenora laughs. Actually laughs. The sound is bright and careless, like I've just told a joke. "Oh, that." She waves her free hand, dismissively. "We decided not to pursue that particular treatment." The world tilts. "You decided?" My voice comes out strangled. "That money was in a medical trust. For Merrick's care. And we used it for Merrick's care." Lenora gestures toward the boat with her champagne flute. "Fresh air and sunshine are better therapy than some risky experimental procedure. The boy needs normal experiences, not needles and hospital beds." Conrad nods along like she's making perfect sense. Dr. Thorne admitted himself the success rate isn't guaranteed. "We're not throwing good money after bad. That money wasn't yours to throw anywhere." My hands are shaking now. I clench them into fists. I liquidated my retirement accounts, every penny I had saved. That was supposed to give Merrick a chance at stopping the disease progression. "The disease is genetic, Elise." Lenora's tone shifts to something patronizing. "No amount of money will fix his DNA. But a boat? A boat gives him joy, memories, a normal summer with his family." I turn away from them, searching for Merrick again. He's still by the buffet table, but he's watching us now. Our eyes meet across 30 feet of manicured lawn and expensive guests. I wait for the outrage, the confusion, some sign that he's as horrified as I am. Instead, his gaze drops to his shoes, his shoulders hunch forward, the tremor in his hand gets worse. I walk toward him on legs that don't feel like mine. The crowd parts around me. By the time I reach him, I already know what he's going to say. "Don't." His voice is barely a whisper. "Don't make a scene, Elise. Please. I just want a normal summer." The words land like a physical blow. "You knew. It's not a question. They told you. And you said yes. The procedure isn't even FDA approved. Mom's right about the success rates. He still won't look at me, and I'll have the boat for years. We can take it out on the lake, have fun, actually enjoy life instead of what? Instead of fighting for your mobility, your future? Instead of turning my whole existence into a medical emergency. His voice cracks. Several guests turn to look. He lowers it again immediately. I'm so tired, Elise. I just want to be normal. Just for one summer. Something inside me breaks clean in half. 7 years ago, I sat in a hospital room that smelled like disinfectant and death. Machines beeped steadily in the background. My mother's hand was cold in mine, her breathing labored. She made me promise. Take care of the boys. Make sure they're okay. 9 months ago, Merrick called me crying. The diagnosis was progressive and aggressive. Insurance wouldn't cover the experimental treatment. I didn't hesitate. I emptied everything. Deleted my future in a single wire transfer because that's what you do for family. And he chose a boat. My hands find the champagne tray before I consciously decide to move. Crystal flutes catch the late afternoon sun, throwing rainbow prisms across the deck. I watch my own hand sweep across the tray in one violent arc. Glass explodes. Champagne sprays. The shattering sound cuts through every conversation, every laugh, every performance of wealth and happiness. Silence crashes down like a guillotine blade. 100 pairs of eyes turn toward me. Lenora's mouth forms a perfect O of shock. Conrad's face floods red. Merrick just stands there, trembling, looking anywhere but at me. I walk, through the frozen crowd, past the judging stares, across grass that cost more to maintain than most people's mortgages. Conrad's voice follows me. Elise, you're being dramatic. Come back here. I keep walking. Lenora's stage whisper carries perfectly in the silence. The stress has finally broken her. I knew this would happen. I reach my car, hands shaking so badly I can barely grip my keys. The engine turns over. I pull away from the lake house with my hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel, hyperventilating but not looking back. In the rearview mirror, I watch Conrad and Lenora fold into each other. Comforting embraces, concerned whispers to nearby guests. Already reframing this. Already making me the villain. The Merrick Clee gleams on the dock behind them, christened with stolen hope. The next morning, the fluorescent lights in Kaylin Pierce's office buzz like trapped insects. It's 7 in the morning. I haven't slept. My coffee sits untouched on the glass conference table between us, growing cold while Kaylin's pen moves across legal pads with surgical precision. Say that last part again. Her voice is flat, clinical. About the mortgage. The lake house is in my name. I co-signed when Conrad's credit tanked 3 years ago. He promised to refinance within 6 months. I dig through my purse for the folder I grabbed before leaving my apartment at 5:30. He never did. Kaylin takes the documents without looking at me. Her reputation preceded our introduction. Forensic accountant turned attorney. She's destroyed more fraudulent estates than the IRS. People call her ruthless. I'm counting on it. Supplemental credit cards? She's already writing. 2, both on my primary account. Conrad uses them for the country club. Lenora for boutique shopping in Greenwich. Car leases? Merrick's SUV, luxury package. I'm the primary on that too. The words taste like ash. He needed reliable transportation after the diagnosis. I thought I was helping. Kaylin's pen stops moving. She looks up for the first time since I sat down. You understand what I'm proposing here? This isn't cutting them off. This is scorched earth. Good. She almost smiles. Almost. By 8:30, every supplemental card is canceled. By 9, I've authorized stopping mortgage payments on the lake house effective immediately. By 9:15, the luxury SUV lease termination is filed. Kaylin documents each action in triplicate, her handwriting precise as a scalpel. They'll retaliate, she says. People like this always do. Let them try. I leave her office feeling lighter than I have in years. The morning air tastes different. Cleaner. The feeling lasts exactly 4 hours. The delivery arrives at my advertising agency just after lunch. I'm in the middle of reviewing mock-ups for a pharmaceutical campaign when my assistant pokes her head in. There's a situation in reception. 3 dozen white roses crowd the front desk like a funeral arrangement. Enormous. Obscene. the kind of display meant to be seen by everyone on the floor. Crystal vase catching light from the floor to ceiling windows. My coworkers have already started gathering, phones out, probably posting to social media. The card sits propped against the vase in a small cream envelope. I recognize Lenora's handwriting before I open it. "We forgive your outburst. We know you're stressed. Love always, Mom and Dad." My hands don't shake this time. They're steady as I lift the entire arrangement, vase and all. Water sloshes. Rose petals scatter across industrial carpet. I carry it through the bullpen, past cubicles, straight to the back exit. The dumpster behind the building reeks of yesterday's catering. I dump the whole thing in. Glass shatters. White petals mix with coffee grounds and discarded lunch containers. When I turn around, Janet from accounting is standing in the doorway. She's worked here longer than anyone, seen 3 CEOs come and go. Her expression is knowing. "Not the first time?" I ask. "Not even close, honey." She holds the door open for me. "Good for you." I'm back at my desk when my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer anyway. "You humiliated me." Merrick's voice cracks with hysteria. Not pain, not fear, pure wounded ego. The repo man took the SUV while I was at dinner, at Lucia's, on a date. Lucia's $200 entrees. While his sister funds experimental medical treatments, he's apparently decided he doesn't need. "You embarrassed me in front of her." He's not even trying to lower his voice. I can hear restaurant noise in the background. He's calling from the street. Everyone saw. How am I supposed to explain this? "You chose the boat," I say. "That's not." "You chose the boat over treatment, over your own future. So now you get to explain that choice to your date. Good luck." I disconnect, block the number, return to the pharmaceutical mock-ups like nothing happened. But something has happened. The confirmation settles in my chest like concrete. Merrick isn't a victim. He's a parasite who learned to weaponize his own disease. The tremor in his hand at yesterday's party wasn't illness. It was performance anxiety. Fear of losing his comfortable life, not his mobility. That afternoon, Kaylin calls. "We need to talk about your insurance claims." Her office again. Different conference room, smaller, more private. She spreads printouts across the table like crime scene photos. "I pulled your financial history for asset protection purposes. Standard procedure." Her finger taps a highlighted section. "These charges, intensive psychotherapy, 2 years of weekly sessions." The provider name means nothing to me. Apex Neurotherapy Solutions. I've never been to therapy. "I know." Kaylin pulls up another document. "The billing address is a P.O. box, registered to your parents' zip code, near the lake house. The room temperature drops 10 degrees. Someone's been using your insurance, filing false claims, collecting reimbursements." She meets my eyes. "This is federal fraud, Elise. Wire fraud. Identity theft. We're not talking about family drama anymore." "How much?" $40,000. Maybe more. I'm still tracing the accounts. I should feel shocked, violated. Instead, I feel something close to relief. They're not just toxic, they're criminals. This isn't a moral gray area anymore. It's black and white. Evidence and law. What do we do? Kaylin leans back in her chair. Her expression shifts into something predatory. "We don't confront them. Not yet." She taps the documents. "I want to hire a private investigator. Trace the billing source. Document everything. Build an airtight case before they know we're looking." Why wait? Because right now they think they're winning. They think the flower stunt worked, that you're backing down. Let them think that. Her smile is razor sharp. Let them get comfortable while we build the trap. When we move, it'll be decisive. Total. They won't see it coming until it's too late. I think about Merrick screaming about his date. Conrad's inevitable tantrum when the mortgage payment bounces. Lenora's perfectly styled panic when her credit cards decline at the boutique. How long? 2 weeks. Maybe 3. The investigator I use is thorough. She starts gathering the documents. In the meantime, you go about your life. Work. Sleep. Act normal. Can you do that? Yes. Good. She slides a business card across the table. This is the investigator. Marcus Webb, former FBI. He'll be in touch within 48 hours. I leave her office as the sun sets over Manhattan. The city lights blink on one by one. Somewhere across the state, my parents are probably toasting their victory with champagne, celebrating their clever daughter's emotional breakdown, planning their next manipulation. They have no idea I've stopped playing defense. I've gone on offense. I wait for the fallout. It takes 48 hours of silence. Then Conrad shows up at my office on a Wednesday afternoon, and I know before security calls that this won't be quiet. The agency occupies the 14th floor of a glass tower in Midtown. Every wall is transparent, every conversation visible. It's designed to foster collaboration, creativity, open communication. Right now, it means 70 people can watch my father lose his mind in the lobby. I'm in the conference room when my assistant appears in the doorway, her face carefully neutral. Elise? There's a Conrad Taylor downstairs. He's asking for you. Through the glass wall, I see heads turning, screens dimming as people abandon work to watch. Tell security I'll be right there. I don't rush. I save the pitch deck I'm reviewing, close my laptop with deliberate care, smooth my charcoal blazer. When I finally walk toward the lobby, my heels click against marble with a steady rhythm that sounds calmer than I feel. He's already screaming when I push through the glass doors. Elder abuse. Conrad's face is purple, veins standing out on his forehead. He's wearing a polo shirt that costs more than most people's car payments, but sweat stains darken the collar. My own daughter is committing elder abuse. The security guard has one hand raised, trying to calm him. Two junior account executives freeze mid-step near the elevators. The receptionist's fingers hover over her phone, uncertain whether to call the police. She's stolen our money. Conrad whirls toward me, finger jabbing the air. Cut off her dying brother, left him to rot while she lives in luxury. I stop 3 feet away. Don't cross my arms, don't raise my voice. Just stand there with my hands loose at my sides, watching him perform. We gave her everything, he continues, playing to the growing audience. Sacrificed for her education, her career, and this is how she repays us? Abandoning family when we need her most? The elevator dings. 3 more employees emerge and immediately go still. Sir. The security guard steps closer. I need you to lower your voice, or I'll have to ask you to leave. Leave? Conrad's laugh is bitter, theatrical. My daughter steals from her own parents and you want me to leave? What kind of world is this? I meet his eyes. Say nothing. Merrick is dying, Elise. His voice drops to something that might pass for grief if you didn't know better. Your brother is dying and you don't even care. You took everything we had and walked away. Behind me, I hear whispers. Speculation. The exact reaction he wants. Security, please escort Mr. Taylor from the building. My voice carries across the lobby, steady and cold. He's not welcome here. Conrad's face goes from purple to nearly crimson. You ungrateful. The security guard grips his elbow. A second guard appears from the stairwell. They flank him, professional and firm. Don't touch me! Conrad tries to shake them off, but they're already guiding him toward the doors. You'll regret this, Elise. You'll regret abandoning your family. His voice echoes in the marble lobby even as they push him outside. Through the glass, I watch him stumble on the sidewalk, still shouting, still performing for an audience that can no longer hear him. I turn back to find 70 pairs of eyes on me. For 3 seconds, nobody moves. Then I walk back through the glass doors to my desk like nothing happened. That evening, Margaret Chen calls me into her office at 6:15. The senior partner's corner suite overlooks the city, floor-to-ceiling windows framing Manhattan in golden light. She's 60, elegant, with silver hair cut in a severe bob, and a reputation for dismantling incompetent executives before lunch. I expect termination. Family drama affecting workplace professionalism. Bringing personal chaos into a professional environment. I've already drafted my resignation letter in my head. Sit. Margaret gestures to the chair across from her desk. I sit, spine straight, hands folded in my lap. She studies me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she opens a folder and slides a document across the polished surface. Creative Director. $40,000 raise. You start Monday. I stare at the contract. The words don't make sense. I watched the entire scene this afternoon. Margaret leans back in her chair. Then I did some research. Your brother's medical situation, your parents' financial history, the trust fund they emptied. Heat crawls up my neck. I apologize for bringing that into the office. It won't happen again. Your composure under attack was remarkable. Margaret taps the contract. Most people would have screamed back, defended themselves, made it worse. You stood there and let him destroy his own credibility. That's leadership, Elise. I don't understand. This is a position you've been in consideration for. We were planning to offer it next quarter. She pauses. Were you going to decline? To care for your brother? The question hits like a physical blow because yes, I'd been considering exactly that. Stepping back from my career to manage Merrick's care. Sacrificing my own trajectory for his needs. I was evaluating my options, I say carefully. Good, because we need you here. Not playing nursemaid to a family that's clearly willing to destroy you. Margaret stands, signaling the meeting is over. Sign the contract. Take tomorrow off. Come back Monday ready to lead. I walk out of her office in a daze, the unsigned contract clutched in my hands. Dr. Eris Thorne meets me at Gramercy Tavern at 8. He's already claimed a corner table, wine glasses catching candlelight. Not romantic, despite what people assume when they see us together. Just the closest thing I have to family that isn't actively trying to ruin me. You look different. He stands when I approach, studying my face. Good different. I got promoted. To creative director? He grins. Elise, that's incredible. I slide into my seat and the words just come. I'm done being the fixer. I'm done sacrificing myself for people who'd sell me for boat accessories. Eris raises his wine glass. To your freedom. We toast with a Bordeaux that costs more than Conrad's polo shirt. The wine tastes like victory, rich and complex. I laugh for the first time in months, the sound surprising even to me. You look lighter, Eris observes. Like someone cut strings you didn't know were holding you down. Around us, the restaurant hums with quiet conversation. Normal people having normal dinners. No screaming, no manipulation. Just genuine connection over good food and better wine. My phone buzzes throughout dinner. Texts from coworkers offering support. An email from building security confirming Conrad is banned from the premises. A voicemail from my neighbor saying suspicious cars have been circling the lake house. Another email from the bank. Fraud investigation officially opened. Kaylin sends a message at 9:30. PI found something big. Shell company registered to Lenora's maiden name. Call me tomorrow. The web of allies forms naturally around the truth. People who see through the performance. Who recognize abuse when they witness it. By the time Eris walks me to my apartment building, I feel untouchable. The financial cutoff worked. The boundaries held. Conrad's public meltdown only made him look unstable, desperate, exactly what he is. I'm in bed by 10, promotion paperwork spread across my comforter, planning my first moves as creative director. Mentally reorganizing the department, thinking about the future for the first time in years without family obligation weighing every decision. Sleep comes easy, deep and dreamless. The first full night's rest I've had in weeks. At 2 a.m., my apartment door explodes inward. Flashlights blind me. Shouted commands overlap into incomprehensible noise. Rough hands drag me from bed, throw me face down on hardwood floor. My cheek presses against cold wood. Metal cuffs bite into my wrists. What's happening? My voice comes out strangled. What did I do? A SWAT officer crouches beside me, shows me his phone screen. Text message from my number to Merrick. Timestamp 1:47 a.m. I bought a gun. I'm ending it all tonight. I didn't send that. My heart hammers against my ribs. That's not from me. Someone spoofed my number. Red flag laws, ma'am, the officer says, checking my restraints. We received a 911 call from a family member, stating you had a loaded weapon and were threatening immediate violence. Combined with this text message, we had to act. Mandatory psychiatric evaluation. They haul me to my feet. My neighbors peer from cracked doors as they drag me down the hallway in pajamas. Mrs. Rodriguez covers her mouth. The college kid, 2 doors down, films on his phone. Outside, blue and red lights paint the street. 3 police cars. An ambulance. Like I'm a terrorist instead of someone who just got promoted. They shove me into the back of a squad car and I realize with perfect, horrible clarity. My parents just weaponized the law itself. The psychiatric ward smells like industrial bleach and desperation. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, harsh and unrelenting, the kind of brightness designed to strip away any pretense of privacy or peace. I've been here 68 hours, 4 more to go. They took everything at intake. Phone, wallet, belt, shoelaces. The standard protocol for someone flagged as a suicide risk. The nurse who processed me had kind eyes but tired hands. She'd done this 1,000 times before. "You'll get through this," she'd whispered while cataloging my belongings. "Just stay calm." Calm. Right. Someone is screaming 3 doors down. A man's voice, raw and broken, begging for his mother. The sound scrapes against my skull. I've learned to tune it out, mostly. File it away with the other ambient horrors. The woman who paces the hallway counting backward from 1,000. The teenager who hasn't stopped crying since I arrived. I sit on the edge of my bed, hands folded in my lap. Perfect posture. Corporate armor even in hospital scrubs. The psychiatrist arrives for my 3rd evaluation right on schedule. Dr. Reeves. Mid-50s, wire-rimmed glasses, the kind of measured neutrality that comes from years of professional detachment. He carries a clipboard and a pen that clicks when he thinks. "How are you feeling today, Elise?" "Tired." True enough. The mattress is thin and the screaming doesn't stop at night. But stable. Focused. He makes a note. "Click, click. Your family is very concerned about you." My family. The ones who weaponized a spoofed text message and red flag laws to have me dragged out of my apartment at 2 in the morning. Very concerned indeed. I appreciate their concern. My voice is flat, professional. The tone I use in client meetings when someone pitches a terrible idea. But I never sent that message. I don't own a gun. I've never expressed suicidal ideation to anyone. Sometimes people in crisis don't remember what they've said or done. I'm not in crisis. I made a financial decision to protect my assets. My parents disagreed with that decision. Click, click, click. Your father mentioned an incident at a family gathering. You destroyed property, became violent. I knocked over a tray of champagne glasses. I meet his eyes, holding steady. After learning my parents had stolen $215,000 from my brother's medical fund, I removed myself from the situation before saying anything I'd regret. Dr. Reeves watches me for a long moment. I know what he's looking for. Agitation. Mania. Some crack in the facade that confirms their narrative. I give him nothing but icy precision. "You seem very controlled," he says finally. "I am controlled. It's how I function." That level of control can be exhausting. Less exhausting than the alternative. He makes another note. I can't read his handwriting from this angle, but I don't need to. I've documented every interaction, every question, every violation of my rights since I arrived. The nurse who believed me slipped me paper and a pen after the first day. When Dr. Reeves leaves, I add this session to my list. Time, duration, questions asked, my responses. Evidence for later. The 72nd hour arrives like a prison sentence commuted. They return my belongings in a sealed plastic bag. My phone is dead. My wallet still has all my cards. The nurse who believed me squeezes my shoulder as I sign the discharge papers. Good luck out there. I'm going to need it. The automatic doors slide open. Late afternoon sun hits my face, blinding after 3 days of fluorescent hell. I squint, adjusting, and that's when I see him. A man in a cheap suit, holding a manila envelope. He straightens when he spots me. "Elise Taylor?" My stomach drops, but I keep my expression neutral. "Yes." "You've been served." He hands me the envelope and walks away before I can respond. I don't open it until I'm in the parking lot, leaning against someone's car because my legs suddenly don't feel trustworthy. The papers inside are crisp, official, stamped with the Superior Court seal. Petition for conservatorship of the estate. Petitioners: Conrad Taylor and Lenora Merrick Taylor. I scan the document, my advertising brain automatically cataloging the key points. Police raid, erratic spending patterns, suicidal ideation, inability to manage financial affairs. They're seeking legal control of my assets. All $2.3 million, court date set for 3 weeks from today. My phone buzzes back to life as I plug it into my car charger. 17 missed calls, 23 texts, most from Kaylin Pierce. I call her before I even start the engine. "Where are you?" Her voice is sharp, urgent. "Just got served. Parking lot outside the psychiatric hospital. Don't go home. Come to my office. Now." Later at her office, Kaylin meets me in the lobby herself instead of sending an assistant. Her expression is grim. The PI finished his report. She hands me a thumb drive as we walk to her conference room. It's worse than we thought. Worse. I plug the drive into her laptop and watch as files populate the screen. Bank statements, IP logs, corporate registration documents, insurance claim forms, federal identity theft. Kaylin says, spanning 2 years. Your stepmother hacked your insurance portal using your stolen social security number. Changed the mailing address to a P.O. box registered to their lake house zip code. I scroll through the evidence, my hands steady even as my pulse hammers. Fake therapy sessions. A shell company called Apex Neurotherapy Solutions. $40,000 in fraudulent insurance payments already collected. We have everything. Kaylin's voice is cold, satisfied. IP logs placing her at the lake house during the logins. Billing records. The shell company registration is in her maiden name. I stare at the screen, at the proof of their betrayal laid out in spreadsheets and timestamps. We release this now, I say. Criminal charges, public exposure. We end them. No. I look up, startled. Kaylin leans forward, her hand finding my arm. If we release this now, they withdraw the conservatorship suit. They hide assets. They flee jurisdiction. We get a small victory, and they minimize the damage. What are you suggesting? Right now, they're committed to showing up in court. They have to appear. They have to make their case. Her eyes gleam. We need them to commit perjury. Understanding crashes over me like cold water. Let them file sworn affidavits about my instability. Let them detail their financial needs under oath. Every lie becomes federal evidence. Exactly. Kaylin pulls up another file. I've already contacted the FBI. Agent Holloway is building a parallel case. But we need them to dig themselves deeper first. My instinct screams to destroy them now. Immediate justice. Public vindication. But Kaylin is right. Strategic patience. Let them commit to the lie. What do I do? Play defeated. Broken. She opens a new document. Already drafting our response. Stop posting on social media. Appear reclusive. We'll file weak responses to the conservatorship petition. Miss some deadlines. Make it look like you're overwhelmed. And when they believe they're winning, they'll get overconfident. They'll exaggerate in their affidavits. They'll document their own crimes in sworn testimony. Kaylin's smile is sharp as a blade. They're signing their own arrest warrants. They just don't know it yet. I look at the evidence on the screen. At the trap we're building. At the 3 weeks stretching ahead where I have to pretend to be broken. I can do this. I survived 72 hours in a psychiatric ward with my sanity intact. I can survive 3 weeks of performance. What about Judge Whitmore? She's sharp, fair. She'll see through their act once we present evidence. Kaylin closes the laptop. But first, we let them commit. I nod. My hands are steady now. Purpose replacing panic. They wanted to control me. To steal not just my money, but my autonomy, my future, my freedom. Instead, they've walked straight into a trap of their own making. 3 weeks. I can wait 3 weeks. Then we burn their whole world down. 3 weeks later, the Superior Court smells like old wood and stale ambition. I slouch in my chair at the defendant's table, wearing a plain, oversized gray sweater that swallows my frame. My hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. I look small, vulnerable, exactly like someone who can't handle her own life. Across the aisle, Conrad and Lenora sit like they're attending a gala. My father wears a charcoal suit that probably cost $3,000. Lenora's in cream silk with pearls. Their attorney, Marcus Aldridge, shuffles through a stack of manila folders thick enough to build a case for involuntary commitment. The courtroom is packed. Faces I recognize from 4th of July parties. Concerned family friends who showed up to watch me get declared incompetent. They whisper behind manicured hands, shooting me pitying glances. Merrick isn't here. His MS has progressed to the point where he needs a walker now. The procedure window closed 6 weeks ago, right around the time the boat was christened. According to Kaylin's sources, he's mostly bedridden, dependent on the same parents who stole his treatment money. I don't feel sorry for him anymore. Judge Alana Whitmore enters. We rise. She's 60, silver hair in a severe bun, reading glasses on a chain. Her expression reveals nothing as she settles behind the bench. In the back row, Agent Holloway sits in an unremarkable gray suit. He could be anyone. A court reporter, a paralegal, someone's uncle killing time. His presence is the only thing keeping my heart rate steady. We're here for the matter of Taylor versus Taylor. Judge Whitmore says, petition for conservatorship of the estate. Mr. Aldridge, you may call your first witness. The petitioners call Dr. Eris Thorne. Eris walks to the stand in a navy suit. His movements deliberate. He swears in, takes his seat. Kaylin stands from our table, slowly buttoning her jacket. Dr. Thorne, you're the neurologist treating Merrick Taylor, correct? I am. Can you describe the treatment plan you proposed 9 months ago? Eris leans forward slightly. Merrick presented with progressive multiple sclerosis. I recommended hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. The procedure costs $215,000. Elise Taylor liquidated her retirement accounts to fund it. And did the procedure take place? No, the funds were diverted. Aldridge stands. Objection. Speculation. Overruled, Judge Whitmore says, without looking up from her notes. Continue, Dr. Thorne. The parents purchased a boat instead. A Cobalt speedboat for $180,000. They told Merrick that fresh air was better therapy than medical intervention. Several people in the gallery shift uncomfortably. Conrad's jaw tightens, but his expression stays sympathetic. Lenora dabs at her eyes with a tissue. What has happened to Merrick's condition since the procedure was canceled? Kaylin asks. It has deteriorated significantly. He now requires ambulatory assistance. His window for HSCT has likely closed. The disease will continue progressing. Thank you, Dr. Thorne. Aldridge tries to salvage it during cross-examination. Asks about success rates, experimental status, insurance denial. Eris deflects every attack with clinical precision. By the time he steps down, the jury box we don't have would have already sided with me, but this isn't about facts, it's about optics. Conrad takes the stand next. His performance is flawless, the grieving father watching his daughter spiral, voice cracking when he describes finding out about the psychiatric hold, how terrified he was. How he just wants to protect her assets until she's well again. She worked so hard for that money, he says, looking directly at Judge Whitmore. I can't let her destroy everything she built, because she's not thinking clearly. I watch Lenora in the gallery. She's nodding along, tissues pressed to her nose. Several friends reach over to squeeze her hand. When Lenora takes the stand, she's even better. Talks about my erratic behavior over the past months. The champagne glasses I smashed, cutting them off financially without warning. The suicidal text message I allegedly sent. I'm terrified for her, Lenora says, voice trembling. She's been so angry, so unpredictable. We just want to make sure she's safe, that her assets are protected until she gets help. Judge Whitmore takes notes. Her expression has softened from neutral to concerned. Kaylin stands to cross-examine. She looks hesitant, shuffling her papers nervously. She drops a pen, bends to pick it up, murmuring an apology. Mrs. Taylor. Kaylin starts, her voice soft, almost unsure. You mentioned you're terrified for Elise? Petrified, Lenora corrects, sensing weakness. She smiles benevolently at my attorney's apparent incompetence. Kaylin fumbles with her notes. And these expenses, the boat, you felt they were necessary medical costs? Absolutely. Therapy takes many forms. Lenora exchanges a triumphant look with Conrad. They think they've won. They think they're watching an amateur crumble. Kaylin nods slowly. She closes the file folder. The nervous hunch vanishes from her shoulders. Her posture straightens. When she looks up, the hesitation is gone, replaced by a gaze sharp enough to cut glass. Thank you for confirming that under oath, Mrs. Taylor. Kaylin's voice is suddenly clear, commanding the entire room. She turns to the judge. Your Honor, I move to dismiss this petition immediately. Confusion ripples through the courtroom. Aldridge shoots to his feet. What is this? The funds my client's parents claim to be protecting are actually proceeds of federal crimes, Kaylin says calmly. This court cannot grant conservatorship over assets obtained through fraud. Judge Whitmore's eyebrows rise. Explain. May I present evidence? Proceed. Kaylin opens her laptop. A projection screen descends behind the judge's bench. IP logs appear, white text on black background. These are login records from Miss Taylor's health insurance portal, Kaylin says. Note the timestamps, locations, and device identifiers. She highlights several entries. October 15th, 2 years ago. Login from the Lake House IP address. Device registered to Lenora Taylor. Mailing address changed from Elise Taylor's apartment to a post office box. Lenora's face drains of color. The next slide shows a photograph of a storefront that doesn't exist, just a P.O. box number on a form. Apex Neurotherapy Solutions. A shell company registered under Lenora Taylor's maiden name, Morrison. This entity submitted $40,000 in fraudulent insurance claims over 24 months for therapy sessions Elise Taylor never attended. Conrad grips the armrest of his chair. His knuckles go white. Bank statements. Kaylin continues. The screen fills with highlighted deposits. Insurance reimbursements deposited directly into accounts linked to the lake house. $40,000 in fraudulent payments. Federal wire fraud. Identity theft. Insurance fraud. AM. Aldridge is standing now, objecting, but Judge Whitmore silences him with a raised hand. The real threat to assets isn't from Miss Taylor, Kaylin says. It's from her parents. She turns toward the back of the courtroom. Agent Holloway? The man in the gray suit stands, badge glinting as he holds it up. 3 more agents enter through the rear doors, moving down the aisles. Conrad and Lenora realize too late. Their entire conservatorship petition was bait. Every sworn statement they filed, every lie they told under oath, it's all evidence now. Petition denied with prejudice, Judge Whitmore says. Her voice has gone cold. Agent Holloway, approach the bench. Holloway presents a document. The judge reviews it, nods. Conrad Taylor, Lenora Taylor, you're under arrest for federal wire fraud, identity theft, and insurance fraud. The courtroom erupts. Agents move toward the plaintiff's table. Conrad tries to stand, but an agent's hand on his shoulder stops him. Handcuffs click around his wrists. Around Lenora's. You can't do this, Lenora hisses. We're the victims here. You have the right to remain silent, Agent Holloway begins. The charges echo through the courtroom. 20 years, maximum federal prison. Bailiffs restore order as photographers rush the courthouse steps outside. The concerned friends melt into the crowd, suddenly eager to distance themselves. I sit perfectly still at the defendant's table. No triumph, no vindication, just bone-deep exhaustion and the hollow satisfaction of watching a trap snap shut. Dr. Thorne waits for me in the hallway, doesn't say anything. Just stands there, quiet support in a building full of chaos. Kaylin briefs me on the steps. Assets frozen. Lake House seizure pending. Criminal restitution will fund whatever medical care Merrick needs now, though it may be too late. My conservatorship threat is over. Permanently. I watch my parents being led past television cameras in handcuffs, and I feel nothing at all. The courthouse steps are emptying when I see him. Late afternoon sun throws long shadows across the parking lot, and Merrick is alone by a taxi, leaning heavily on his cane. The MS has accelerated. His foot drags slightly as he moves. The tremor in his right hand is worse than it was at the 4th of July party. Stress does that. Speeds up the disease. The procedure window closed months ago. He hobbles toward my car in the parking structure. I watch him through the windshield, keys already in my hand. His knuckles rap against the driver's side window. Tears streak his face. Elise. His voice is muffled through the glass. I didn't know about the shell companies. I didn't know it was federal fraud. Mom said she just moved the funds around legally. You have to believe me. I don't roll down the window. I'm scared, he continues. They're gone. I have nowhere to go. Please. Same manipulation. Different crisis. At that party, he stood by a buffet table and told me he just wanted a normal summer. He chose the Merrick Cleel over his own future. Chose silence over warning me about what they were planning. Now he wants me to choose him again. My hand moves to the ignition, not the window control. The engine turns over. Merrick's face crumples. He steps back as I reverse out of the space, Kane supporting his weight. In the rearview mirror, he's just a figure getting smaller, alone in a parking structure with consequences he helped create. I don't look back. 1 month later, I drive past the lake house on my way to the grocery store. Orange eviction notice screams from the front door. Federal seizure pending criminal restitution. Lenora's gaudy furniture sits piled on the curb in the rain. A cream-colored love seat with gold trim, already stained. the coffee table with ornate legs, warping in the weather. Near the street, boat accessories wait for tomorrow's trash pickup. The Merritt Clee was repossessed 2 weeks ago, but pieces of it remain. Waterlogged cushions, tarnished chrome fixtures. The custom life preserver with Merritt Clee crew, embroidered in gold thread, their greed dissolving in the rain. I park by the lake where the dock extends into dark water. The spare key sits in my glove compartment where it's lived for 3 years. Physical proof of a promise I made in a hospital room that smelled like death. Take care of the boys. I tried. They destroyed me for trying. The key is heavier than it should be as I walk to the water's edge. Dock boards creak under my weight. The lake is calm today, reflecting gray sky. I throw it. The key spins once, catching light, then disappears into the water with barely a splash. Ripples spread outward in perfect circles, then fade to nothing. Promise released. Obligation dissolved. 3 months after the trial, I stand in my new apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. Everything is clean lines and empty space. Photos of Dr. Thorne and colleagues from the agency line one shelf. No family portraits, no lake house memories. Dr. Thorne sits at my kitchen island, wine glass in hand, telling a story about a pharmaceutical rep who tried to bribe him with Yankees tickets. His laughter is genuine. Mine is too. My second promotion came through last week. The campaign I pitched launches next month. Industry recognition, corner office, actual respect. This morning, a junior colleague knocked on my office door. Family trouble, she said. Parents demanding money. Guilt eating her alive. I shared my story. Not for sympathy. As evidence that survival is possible. Love doesn't require self-destruction, I told her. You can care about someone from a safe distance. She cried, then thanked me. Purpose found in supporting, not fixing. Evening settles over the city. Dr. Thorne leaves at 9, hugging me goodbye at the door. I carry my wine to the balcony. Journal open on my lap. City lights spread below like stars. I write. I spent my life trying to save people who were drowning me. Today, I'm the only one swimming. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. I already know who it is before I open it. Can we meet? I need to talk to you. Please, Elise. I sip my wine. Consider the request for 30 seconds. My response is simple. I wish you well. I'm not available. I block the number. Return to my journal. No guilt rises in my chest. No second guessing. No voice whispering that I'm abandoning family. Complete peace. I close the journal and stand at the railing. The city pulses below, alive with possibility. My life expanding instead of contracting. Genuine contentment settles over me like a blanket. I'm not looking back anymore, only forward. The journal lies open on the table behind me, last line visible in lamplight. Day 1 of my actual life.